Globomatics has strict policies around product testability, and new applications must be testable. This section will discuss testability, and since this isn't a course on testability, we will only cover it at a high level so that we can understand why we need a certain architecture for our solution. In this section, we are going to focus on both unit and UI test. After we've discussed both of those, we will quickly discuss how beneficial those tests can be within a Xamarin-Forms solution due to automation. This is not so much for you to know how to test with Xamarin Forms. This is to showcase the importance of architecting for testing, because without the proper architecture, you will probably not be able to take advantage of testing. Unit tests are a software testing method by which individual units of source code, sets of one or more computer program modules together with associated control data, usage procedures, and operating procedures are tested to determine whether they are fit for use. A very high-level look at the structure of a Xamarin Forms solution should have the following project sets. The previously discussed platform layer, which consists of all of the platform targeting projects and libraries. There is the presentation layer, which consists of the projects that reference Xamarin Forms. Then there are any number of layers separating out the different logical and physical components of the solution. We will cover those more later in the course. Finally, and not really a layer, is the testing components. This is a grouping of the different test projects containing both UI test and unit test. Graphical user interface testing is mainly about ensuring that the UI functions in the right way, that an app follows its written specifications, and that defects are identified. Other than that, we can check that the design elements are good. This involves checking the screens with the controls like menu bars, toolbars, colors, fonts, sizes, icons, content, buttons, etc. When you're testing the graphical user interface, there are many test cases to take into consideration. The font type and size, making sure that the content on the screen fits. Checking that required fields have actually been input on a form. Data type errors, so ensure that the right type of data is given when you're looking for dates, ages, weight, or anything else. Make sure that field widths are set to properly contain the data that you're supposed to be able to see. Make sure that you confirm when saving or updating data. Make sure you have confirmations for when data is going to be deleted. Once these tests are built, you can run them automatically in the build and deploy cycle. Xamarin UI Test is a testing framework that enables automated UI acceptance tests written in C# using the in-unit testing framework to be run against iOS and Android applications. It integrates tightly with Xamarin iOS and Xamarin Android projects, but it can be used with iOS and Android projects written natively in Objective-C, Swift, and Java. Xamarin UI Test is the automation library that allows in-unit tests to execute on Android and iOS devices. The tests interact with the user interface just as a user would, entering text, tapping buttons, and performing gestures such as swiping. To interact with your test is fairly simple. Here you see code that tells the UI to tap on the Validate button. This is an example of a more complicated test. First, we enter 17 characters of the character 9 into the credit card text field. Then we take a screenshot. Then we tap the Validate button and take another screenshot. After that, we query for a UI label and see if it has the text credit card number is too long. Then we assert if our query has any results. We can use these automated tests in App Center. Visual Studio App Center brings together multiple services commonly used by mobile developers into an integrated cloud solution. We can use App Center to build, test, and distribute our applications. Once the app's deployed, we can actually use analytics and diagnostic services and even engage with users using the push service. In this section, we focused on both unit and UI test. After we discussed both of those, we quickly discussed how beneficial those tests can be within a Xamarin Forms solution due to automation. In the next section, we are going to discuss NuGet and Xamarin Forms.